This is our nightly newscast from Gaza City. It's me, and this is Gaza, where we bring you the latest updates from Gaza and the occupied Palestinian territories. On today's episode, we'll be looking at the state of play after 1 week of the Israeli onslaught against Gaza. It's been 1 week since the Israeli war machine has been pounding Gaza to dust. Homes, streets, hospitals, schools, all manner of civilian infrastructure has been obliterated. Today, we will take a look at how this assault compares to previous ones on Gaza, and what lessons can be learned from them. Welcome to the show. Let's start off with a quick update of the unfolding events in Gaza. Since the commencement of the Israeli offensive, 7 days ago today, at least 15,000 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli fire. This figure includes 3,000 women and children, according to Gaza Health Ministry officials. They added that over 48,000 people were wounded in the last week of the offensive, which means that every 3 minutes, one Palestinian has been killed by the Israeli war machine in Gaza over the past week. These figures are bound to increase, given that the Israeli siege is now in its 17th day. And during the siege, the delivery of aid into Gaza, food, water, medicine, all of these things have stopped. The Israeli occupation forces have totally besieged the Gaza Strip. The only partial exception being the Kadam Shalom commercial crossing, where limited quantities of humanitarian aid have trickled in. But this is nowhere near enough to meet the pressing needs of the 2.3 million strong Palestinian civilian population, who are now entirely reliant on aid groups such as the UN. Now, this was expected. It's always the case when Israel besieges a Palestinian city or town. The objective is to squeeze the civilian population into submission and force their leaders to accept whatever terms Israel decides to impose. It happened in Jenin in 2002, in Naples in 2006, and in Gaza during the 2008 2009, 2014 and 2021 wars. It's important to remember that Hamas is a Palestinian political party as well as a resistance movement. That means it governs the Gaza Strip. It runs the schools, the roads, the public services, everything that keeps society running. So when the hospitals fill up with thousands of casualties, it's the doctors and nurses of Hamas who are treating them. When the power cuts out, it's Hamas workers trying to restore it. When the roads are bombed and destroyed, it's Hamas trying to repair them. When there's no food, no water, no medicine, it's Hamas trying to get them for the people. It is easy for the outside world to forget this, because Hamas is portrayed as a terrorist organization by many governments and media outlets. But in Gaza, they are the government. And that's why when Hamas is attacked, so is the state apparatus of the Gaza Strip. That's why hundreds of schools, dozens of clinics, factories, farms, and even a beach have been targeted by the Israeli air and artillery bombardments. Now, before moving on, we would like to ask you to support us by liking this video, subscribe to our channel, activate the notification bell, and share our videos on social media, so more people get to learn about the brave people of Palestine. Your support helps us continue to deliver quality journalism that exposes the human side of the ongoing tragedy. It's important to note that the Israeli assault on Gaza City is unprecedented in scope and intensity. It's the largest city in the Gaza Strip, home to half of Gaza's entire population. It's been encircled by Israeli troops for nearly a week now and subjected to continuous bombardment, including the heaviest airstrikes ever seen on a small geographic area. The scale and ferocity of the current offensive raises serious concerns about the protection of civilian lives. Unlike previous operations in Gaza, which focused mainly on the southern and central parts of the Strip, this time the entire city is a target. Over the last few days, Israeli forces advanced into Gaza City from 3 directions: north, east, and south. The Israeli incursion has led to street-to-street confrontations with Hamas fighters, resulting in significant casualties on both sides. Intense urban warfare poses substantial risks to the safety of both combatants and civilians. The narrow streets and densely populated neighborhoods of Gaza City make it extremely challenging to distinguish between military targets and civilian areas. The use of heavy weaponry and artillery in such close proximity to densely packed residential buildings increases the likelihood of civilian casualties. Now, Israel has built a wall around Gaza City and is preventing the entry of food and medical aid into the city. All of this has created a dire situation for the Palestinian civilians caught in the crossfire. Many families have been internally displaced, fleeing their homes to seek refuge elsewhere in Gaza. Over 500,000 Palestinians have been newly displaced, according to the United Nations. This has led to a severe shortage of shelter, food, and clean water. Hospitals and clinics are overwhelmed, grappling with shortages of essential medical supplies, fuel, and electricity. With the breakdown of basic services and the constant threat of violence, the humanitarian situation in Gaza City continues to deteriorate rapidly. And as we said earlier, it's expected to get worse. Now, the current situation mirrors the worst days of the 2021 war, when Israel besieged Gaza, killed thousands of Palestinian civilians, and destroyed much of Gaza's already limited infrastructure. However, it surpasses the previous offensives in terms of the level of destruction and death. After a week of relentless Israeli attacks, much of Gaza City resembles a scene of a massacre. Homes are burnt and destroyed, corpses left in the open and body bags piled up in the streets due to a lack of space in cemeteries. As Israel continues its assault, more and more patients head to the hospitals. Many of them children suffering from respiratory problems due to the smoke of the incendiary munitions used by the Israeli occupation forces. Now, the medical services in Gaza were already stretched thin due to the long-term Israeli blockade. The recent surge in casualties has pushed the system to the brink of collapse. Medical facilities are reporting critical shortages of essential supplies, including blood, medicines, surgical equipment, and even basic foodstuffs for patients. Doctors, nurses, and medical staff are struggling to cope with the overwhelming number of patients, many of whom have life-threatening injuries or illnesses. The dire situation has raised fears of a humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza. We know that Israel holds the upper hand militarily. We've been saying this from the very beginning, but Hamas has proven that it can inflict heavy losses on the Israeli occupation forces. Israel has yet to achieve its stated objectives of eliminating Hamas's military capabilities and apprehending or killing its top leaders. And it is unclear when or if it will be able to do so without causing even more devastation to Gaza City and inflicting further casualties on the Palestinian civilian population. The international community is increasingly concerned about the unfolding situation in Gaza, urging all parties to take urgent steps to protect civilians and prevent a larger humanitarian crisis. Now, this was the weekly newscast from Gaza. If you want to help us keep this newscast going, please feel free to send donations via the link in the description below. Until next time, stay safe.